So, you want to turn your enemies into giant piles of ice and snow? Well, you came to the right place. But before we get in today's video, guys, be sure if you enjoy this content to leave a big fat thumbs up, comment down below, and sub to the channel. That helps the channel grow so much, guys. And if you want to become a bigger part of the Viral Gaming community, be sure to join our Discord. I'll leave a link in the comments below. But I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get the ball rolling on today's video. Alrighty guys, so the first things that we need to talk about today is going to be the classes and the skills that you choose, because these are going to be the two most important aspects to building this Frost build. So what I ended up going with, guys, was the Spore Warden as my first class, and then when you get to a certain part in the story, you're allowed to choose a second class, and what I ended up going with was the Brr-Zerker. So the reason I went with the Spore Warden first is because the ability that I wanted was definitely his 3 Frost Cyclones, the Blizzard ability. Because this ability for frost damage is absolutely insane, because you get 3 Frost Tornadoes that go around and do frost damage. They apply stacks. They also have a huge AoE and a huge crowd control effect. So this is just an awesome ability to have all around. Like, I just love this ability. Then from there, guys, I ended up leveling up my companion first, and that's because the mushroom companion actually holds aggro really well of other enemies. So if you ping and you put him on an enemy, he will actually target the enemies that you ping. I then went with Eagle Eye. I went with Spore Cloud, Medicinal Mushroom, Quiver of Holding, and Wind Runner. So these are the first 6 abilities that I went with. This just has points into it because of my class mod that I have. And then on the Brr-Zerker side of things, guys, I went with Ancestral Frost, Icebreaker, Cold Snap, and then Unyielding. And the reason I went with this is because, for one, you had to get some more points to get down to the next bar. And I figured this would be the best out of all the non-frost abilities that you can get in the skill tree, because a percentage of missing health regenerates over time is actually extremely clutch, because your health is non-stop regenerating at all given times. And then once you're enraged, this is also stacked even higher. His first skill here is just dedicated to dealing more frost damage, his Ancestral Frost. And that plus 20% might not seem like a lot, but when you get higher level and you do a lot higher damage crits and a lot higher just damage numbers in general, that 20% is going to add up extremely fast. And then on top of that, you get a skill right below it called Icebreaker, which also increases your frozen damage as they get less health. So the lower health they get, the more slowed that they become, the more damage that they take from your frost damage. So this is just really clutch. It really stacks with your frost build nicely. And then the last ability, guys, here on the skill tree that I've got to for the Brr-Zerker is the Cold Snap, and this is just increased movement speed and increased frost efficiency. So as you guys can see, it's just more frost damage that you can have and more frost efficiency. And this whole skill tree on the left side here is just dedicated to doing more frost damage. So I would definitely suggest going just straight down this left side. Obviously, to get to this bottom one, you need some more points spent. So I went with the Unyielding. And really all this does is makes your health regenerate over time. And when you pop your ability and you get the perk of the Rage of the Ancients, this will also increase your healing for that 15-second duration that it's active for. So you're going to have non-stop health regeneration, and then every time you pop your Blizzard effect, you're going to also get even more health increase from that as well. So that's why I went with this build, guys. That's kind of how I set it up. Obviously, you guys aren't going to have to build it the exact same way, but this is just a good general start to go ahead and getting that Frost build set up just how you want it. For your hero stats here, a lot of this is really preference. I'm going to be honest. Like, it really just depends. We each have our own little nuances that we have in our gaming playing styles and things like that. But for me, guys, if you are really wanting to go for this true Frost build, I would obviously focus Wisdom a lot, and I'm almost maxed out on it, and that's because you get status damage increase, and status is element basically. So anytime you get a status effect on your shot, this is going to be increased. So I've got a 52% increase. I believe this maxes out at like 55% or something like that. And then also here, guys, you want attunement, because your skill cooldown is basically your ability. So your Blizzard, your 3 tornadoes. The cooldown on this is going to be really important, because this is a huge AoE ability and it's a huge crowd control ability. So you want to have this up, because you notice when it's not up. When you have a lot of enemies around you and you lose your blizzard ability and it goes into cooldown, you notice it's not up because you get swarmed by a lot more enemies. So having a cooldown on that can be a life-saving thing, guys. And then for everything else, strength, dexterity, intelligence, and constitution, this is just really preference, guys. I know I need to get my constitution up so I at least am not in the negative for my max XP, but it just really wasn't a focus of mine early game. Really, my focus was just getting my wisdom up and my 2-min up, and I seemed that it really wasn't too big of an issue. I think I ended up putting like 1 point to constitution just so it wasn't like negative 15% or whatever it was before. I think 12.5 is what it was. But there you guys have it. That's what you want to do for your class hero stats. And then, guys, for your inventory, this is really preference. You don't have to use frost weapons. Like, you don't have to have 4 slots of frost weapons and have your melee weapon be frost damage like mine is. But because I'm really just focusing on this frost, I want to get as much out of it as I can. So that's why I tried to collect all the frost weapons I could, the frost melee, and then also my frost spell as well, because this frost spell combos greatly with everything I have going on. It basically makes another little vortex that's even bigger than my tornadoes. So when you stack it on top of that, guys, it's just absolutely insane how much damage you can do, and in an area too. That's what I love about these abilities all combo together. But that is going to wrap things up for our frost video here today, guys. I do want to, and I do plan on making videos for each element in Tiny Tina's Wonderland. That way you guys can have a build guide for all of the elements in case you don't want to do frost. So stick around, because in the upcoming weeks, guys, I'm going to try and do the rest of those. And we just got a lot more Tiny Tina's content coming for you guys anyways. So do be sure to hit that subscribe and stick around for the rest of that. But that is going to do it for the video here today, guys. This is VG Infection, signing off.